What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and here we are with our weekly view of the biggest movers and shakers on TCG Player over the last 7 days. And this video series has quickly become one of my absolute favorites. Now, we see all kinds of diversity. Like, this video series has helped us identify things that are getting hot that not a lot of people are talking about, which I think is really cool. It gives us some awesome opportunity to see what's going on at a more macro level versus the same things that we talk about every single week, week in, week out. However, this week is going to be the exception because what's been hot this week? It's all Scarlet and Violet, baby. Well, there's actually one XY card on here, but for the most part, it is all Scarlet and Violet, and 151 is going to be prominent on this video. Now, I will say this, it's funny. So I travel for work. You all know that. I've shared that before. I travel full-time. 50 out of 52 weeks in the year, I am on the road, and that causes me to shoot my videos in advance and then preload them and then launch them while I'm on the road. Now, I shot a video and I launched it on Wednesday. It was about 151 in cards and products that I think that are great long-term investments. And I probably shot that 5 days prior to it. Man, it's so funny. The prices in 151 shot up so significantly over that 5-day period that by the time the video launched, I was reading all the comments and everybody was like, oh, the prices are wrong and this, and they were right. Like, they were absolutely right. In the short 5-day, 6-day, however long span it was between the time I shot the video and it actually went live, the prices had changed significantly. Now, 99 out of 100 times, I don't have that happen. I do it every single week, right? But this week, because of everything that's going on in 151, I absolutely got hosed because of it, which was really funny. But at least, hey, listen, the comments aged well because a lot of cards that I had called out, some of them that are on this video right here, and I said I think they're great opportunities at the current price point, have spiked. And so we're going to talk about all of that. Now, as I said, we do this video series every single week. We have a ton of fun. I think it's really insightful. We see all kinds of cool cards on this. So if you are into that kind of thing, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, and if you have questions, comments, drop them down below. With that nonsense out of the way, let's start looking at the biggest movers and shakers on TCG Player this week. Now, very first card we're going to talk about, the Eevee from Twilight Masquerade. Now, one of the reasons, and I use two different sources when I'm pulling my data, and you know I pull tons and tons of data, right? I use TCG Player. I think they do a good job of pushing information and stuff like this video and telling us what's going on in the hobby, at least on their website. But I also use Polkadata.io, and the thing I like about Polkadata.io is they use eBay sales. You can filter just for eBay sales. You can filter just for TCGPlayer.com sales. Like, you can look at things a bunch of different ways. And one of the reasons I like doing that is because this Eevee card, while it is absolutely awesome, and I think it is a valuable card, and I think it has a very bright future, you can see it's at $53.39 now. You'll see it's up 21% over the last month, but those light blue bars represent buying volume, and you can see that earlier in the month of October, there was a buyout, right? You see how that light blue line spikes through the roof, and so does the price. Somebody went on TCG Player and bought all of the cards, which caused the price to spike. So when I see something like this, I'm able to use the information on TCG Player, but I can also go to Polkadata.io and I can see what the card is selling for on eBay, because it is really, really hard. You can do it. You can do all the buy it nows on eBay if you want to, but because there's an auction factor on eBay, it is really hard to artificially inflate the price really, really quickly on eBay. So I'm an affiliate of Polkadata.io. I've been using them for years, so I'm not plugging them for any reason. I do use them, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a coupon code in the description. But this is a really interesting card because I do think this card has a lot of value to it. I mean, we've talked about evolutions have been incredibly hot, absolutely on fire as of really the last 8 months. They've just been too hot to handle. So to see this card all the way at $53, what we need to keep an eye on is how much of that spike is it going to be able to hold for the weeks and months ahead? Is it going to be able to hold that $50 line? Is it going to break the $50 price point and fall back into the $40 range? I don't know. But again, this was driven by a buyout. You can see the blue lines to the right of it. There have been multiple purchases since then that have been supporting it in the $50 range. So who knows? Maybe the buyout has secured a new low for this Eevee card. But again, I'm not rushing out and buying it at $50. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see where it ends up in the long run. Now, the next card, as I said, there's one XY card on it, and here is this Primal Groudon card. And I love this Groudon card. I think that there's a lot of momentum for my man Groudon, right? Like, it's the #1 card in Paradox Rift right now. That card has awesome artwork. There's been a lot of excitement in the XY space. If you watch either my end of the month videos where we kind of highlight what's going on overall in the whole hobby from all the different eras, or if you just watch the individual XY videos that I do, XY top 20 singles cards from all of their sets have been on a tear this entire year. Every single month of this year, the aggregate of those top 20 singles cards have increased in value. We don't see that. You haven't seen that in any other era. So XY was really undervalued, and I think people are finally starting to find the cards in there, and they're starting to find that they really enjoy them. And again, I think there's a lot, especially if we have Mega Evolutions that come back into the game and come back into the card space. I think some of these older Mega Evolutions are going to get some excitement behind them. So this is another card right here. Again, it's up 16%. You can see that there's been multiple sales that have been rising this thing in price. So excited to see a card from the XY era on the list as well. And now we're done with those two. We're getting into 151, and good golly almighty, this Wartortle card has been on a tear, and I love this card. If you've seen, you know why I love this if you watch this channel, right? I love the fact that the Squirtle in the front of this card is one of my favorites of all time. I love the fact that the Blastoise on the other end of this card, right? That is the #2 chase card for the 151 set. It's only increasing in value, and the fact that you have this awesome, just the artwork for this whole evolution line is next level. And I think even if Wartortle doesn't get all the love of Squirtle or Blastoise, I think because of that, this card is going to have a huge upside for the long run. Plus 151 is just a set for the ages. So again, when this card was in the $20 range, I was saying I think this is an absolute steal. Now it is up 19%, but it's still only at $23.59. Again, this type of artwork from this type of set, which does have a really low gem rate. Don't ever forget about that. That helps drive value of singles cards in the long run, right? Because a lot of people are on eBay buying singles cards with the hopes of flipping them into PSA 10s. Now, as the cards become in lower and lower pop and they are more and more in demand, well, low pop and high demand, what does that do? That drives the prices of the PSA 10 cards up. And when PSA 10 prices are high, usually the raw card price follows suit. So there's this whole kind of ecosystem when you have a set that has a low PSA gem rate. And that's exactly what 151 has. So low gem rates, epic era. I think one of the best evolution lines here with Squirtle and Wartortle and Blastoise that we've seen. Lots of things to love about this card, and it's still super attractive at a $23 price point in my mind. Next card right here, the Snorlax. And I led that video where I was talking about the 151 products that I think are great long-term investments, and I talked about how the Pokemon Center exclusive ETB was over 3x MSRP for a set that's only like 14 months old at this point, and I thought that was wild. But if you remember the fact that that came in stock, went out of stock, and we have seen only a few trickle back in here and there, not to the point where anybody who's not paying attention would have the opportunity to go in and buy them. Like, you had to have fingers on the pulse, you had to be a part of a Discord, you had to be a part of some, I don't know, Twitter channel or something to find out when they were restocked. Like, they just have not done any kind of serious restock of those Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes. And a result is, guess what? Wildly popular set, the rarest sealed product that there is, those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. And what do you have? Those ETBs are up 3x from MSRP, and the Snorlax card, the stamp promo, is at almost $100. That is absolutely... it's just crazy when you think about it. I mean, the stamped promo card in there is almost $100, plus you get the 11 booster packs in there, and again, just the upside from the sealed perspective of it being the rarest sealed product from 151. I don't think the Ultra Premium Collection boxes are going to be rarer than those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. Like, you could buy those Ultra Premium boxes for a long, long time. You could have gotten them at Target, you could have gotten them at Walmart, you could have gotten them online, you could have gotten them absolutely anywhere. The only place that you could get those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs was at the Pokemon Center, and the whole world doesn't even have access to it. So really fascinating to watch this card pop off. And again, almost $100. Absolutely insane if you ask me. Now, the next product and the final one is the Charizard. Now, when I did that 151 card prices that I was looking at, and I said, hey, I think this is a great value, this Charizard was the #1 singles card that I talked about, because back then it was at $150. And we talked about, when you think about the track record of the best Charizard cards, the most desirable ones, the most beautiful ones, like this one certainly will be considered in the long run. Like, they just have such a track record of success at $150, even though it was way up versus where it was in the beginning of the year. I still felt $150 was a very fair point. And now guess what? It shot up. It really got almost to $220, but over the last week or so, it's been working its way back down. It's at $200 flat right now. And listen, the difference between $50 in a card like this isn't that much. When you think about the grand scheme of things, when you think about the longevity of 151, you know, I do think that this card is fairly priced at $200, just like I thought it was a great value at $150. However, it does look like the market is responding and the card is dropping. So I'd keep an eye on this for a while. If it's a card that you've had on your wish list, let's see what happens. Sometimes during the holidays, a lot of people put cards up for sales, and everybody knows we're approaching that. So who knows what's going to happen. I do think that being the #1 chase card from what could end up being the #1 set from the Scarlet and Violet era has a whole lot to do with that. And then the fact that it's a Charizard with beautiful artwork, you can't go wrong. But it has been wild to watch this card grow over the last month or so. It's just been out of this world. So hey, listen, that's the end. These are the 5 cards that have been moving the shaking the most on the Pokemon or on TCG Player. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a ton of fun for me to do. It was really cool to kind of hindsight on some of the stuff we've done on the past. So if you enjoyed it, we do it every week. Hit that subscribe button. If you have questions or comments, drop them down below. And as always, if you like what you see, give us a big old thumbs up. I appreciate you more than I can say. Have an epic one. See everybody. Bye.